Ellis Beefeaster's Radio Aircheck and Classic TV channel.
But I do want to talk to all of you, so your calls are coming up. I'm Scoot on WWL.
Continuing coverage of Ida on 870 AM WWL New Orleans, 105.3 WWL-FM and HD1 Kenner New Orleans, WLMG and WLMG HD1 New Orleans, WKBU and WKBU HD1 New Orleans, and WEZB and WEZB HD1 New Orleans. Audacy stations.
WWL First News, it's 5 o'clock. I'm Chris Miller on your official weather station, WWL, AM/FM, and .com. Hurricane Ida, still a dangerous Category 4 storm with top winds of 130 miles per hour. Currently about 5 miles east of Houma and moving northwest at 10 miles per hour. Here's WWL-TV meteorologist Chris Franklin to tell us more about its forecast.
We do see a slow weakening of Ida, so its progression toward Houma and Thibodaux has been achingly slow. That's going to continue through the later evening and overnight hours, bringing the core of the strongest winds into Lafourche and Terrebonne, and then into eventually the river parishes, even farther west into Ascension and Assumption, out toward Baton Rouge. The strongest of the winds here in New Orleans will likely be felt throughout the afternoon and evening, with periods of heavy wind gusts likely exceeding hurricane force, as well as the heavy rainfall. That will continue, the rain will, through the overnight and into early on Monday.
Ida has been devastating coastal communities in its path. Here in downtown New Orleans, WWL's Dave Cohen tells us the wind's not nearly as powerful, but it's still capable of doing damage.
More and more debris keeps flying by. This massive piece of metal, some 8 feet long and 3 feet wide, came flying down the street just moments ago. I've seen pieces of roofs, awnings, street lights, branches, and entire trees blowing down the road as Hurricane Ida lashes out at New Orleans.
Governor John Bell Edwards addressed the state hours into the hurricane's assault. WWL's Tom Peyronie reports.
The governor has called up the Louisiana National Guard. Nearly 5,000 Guard personnel have been deployed to hurricane-affected areas.
Just on the search and rescue assets of the National Guard, they're staged across 14 parishes. They have 195 high-water vehicles, 73 boats, and 34 helicopters ready to support and assist the citizens of Louisiana.
Edwards also expressed confidence in the levee systems in and around the city of New Orleans, saying he did not expect any overtoppings of the levees due to high water from Hurricane Ida.
With tropical storm force winds blowing here through the city, authorities telling people who stayed behind to shelter in place, and that means staying in place, no sightseeing during or immediately after the storm.
Find the safest place in your home, an interior room, away from windows, away from skylight, away from glass doors, away from anything, projectiles flying outside that could break into your home that way.
Jefferson Parish President Cynthia Lee Shang. The Chalmette Ferry broke free from its moorings. St. Bernard Parish President Guy McGinnis says when he last saw it, winds were pushing it upriver towards New Orleans. More than 500,000 customers without power in the southeastern Louisiana area. Entergy reports more than 470,000, more than 156,000 of them in Jefferson Parish, 125,000 in New Orleans. Washington St. Tammany Electric has more than 50,000 without power, and CLECO reports more than 24,000 outages. Getting that power reconnected, it's going to take a Herculean effort, say officials.
Utility companies are anticipating a massive restoration effort that could take weeks to complete. Entergy spokesperson David Free says there will be some real challenges.
Down in the Bayou region, we're expecting that we may have to send out marsh buggies. These are water vehicles with buckets on them. Here in the Baton Rouge area, we're expecting the possibility of having to use rear lot track machines in order to get to the backyard of home.
I'm Jeff Palermo, WWL First News.
Now, your Garcia Roofing forecast on WWL.
Unfortunately, no real good news with Ida, just creeping along as it moves across Galliano, Houma, Cocodrie, up toward Thibodaux, and will continue at this slow pace, giving a longer duration of the strong, damaging, devastating winds as it moves along a path that will generally take it west of the metro area and over the river parishes. As far as the city goes, we will avoid the core of the strongest winds. However, the winds will remain very brisk and, well, we'll call it strong and damaging as we go through the rest of the afternoon and evening. By the overnight period, the winds will be subsiding. Still very windy, however. Rain as well will continue to be rather heavy with the risk of tornadoes as we get into the morning and midday hours of Monday, finally improving conditions. From your local weather expert forecast center, I'm WWL-TV Chief Meteorologist Chris Franklin.
Here in downtown New Orleans, we have winds gusting up to 38 miles per hour. It is 77 degrees and raining. At the New Orleans lakefront, winds of 53 miles an hour, gust to 86, 76 degrees. I'm Chris Miller, WWL First News.
On WWL-AM-FM.com and the Audacy app, Louisiana's official emergency management station. It's continuing coverage of Ida. Live from our Jefferson Financial Federal Credit Union studios. Also on Magic 101.9, Bayou 95.7, and B97. Connect now on the Oakland Hart Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870. Now, back to Team WWL.
And I'm Scoot on the air, part of Team WWL, as we continue to go through Hurricane Ida live. This will always be a moment that we remember. There are moments in life that you remember more than others, and this is one of those moments. And you know, I've never been to a slumber party, but this is about as close to one as I'm going to get, and it's really different than the fantasies of slumber parties I thought before, but we're all staying here. We've got blow-up mattresses in our offices, and we've got food, and when we are here, you know, I want to thank the news team, Dave Cohen, our news director, and Chris Miller, and Tom Peyronie, and anchors, and again, so many people working so hard, and we got to find out about Scott Alexander, because we lost him once, and he apparently was knocked over by the wind. And I mean, look, this is like a football player, athletic kind of guy, and he got knocked over by the wind, and it is really hitting downtown New Orleans really badly right now, and the rain is just pounding against the window. I can tell how strong the winds are out there, and if you're not in downtown New Orleans, you might be in some of this this really horrific weather right now. Let's go to Ben Schott, who is with the National Weather Service, meteorologist. Ben, welcome to our show this afternoon.
Thank you for having me.
All right, Ben, tell us what we're experiencing right now and what's to come.
Well, kind of even surprising to us at this point. As Ida's come on shore, the eye wall really hasn't broke down. It's weakened a little bit. And it's also starting to show some indications that it's wanting to slow down or stall near Homa. And the reason that it's probably trying to do that is it's going from that northwest trajectory and trying to turn more north to eventually turn northeast tomorrow. And so it's slowed down dramatically. And you know, for the New Orleans metro area, that is nothing but bad news, because we're still seeing the 3 to 4 inch rainfall rates. And it's also allowing for that outer eye wall to approach, you know, the western portions of the city, and that's the reason why we're starting to get some of the very high wind gusts, especially out over towards, you know, Metairie, Kenner, and those areas. So this is turning into a very worst case scenario in some aspects for portions of the city.
And you know, that's not good news. That's kind of what Isaac did a few years ago, just slowed down and kind of stalled. And, you know, for a storm that was moving this fast, is it unusual that now that it moves onto land that it's slowing down? Does the land create friction?
It's not the land. It's just it's trying to navigate around that area of high pressure that's sitting off the southeast coast. So for it to turn, you know, it's got to slow down the turn. It's the way it. The physics behind it is just conserving momentum. That's a very science nerd talk there. I apologize.
No,
but because it's trying to do that, it's got to slow down. And so it went from, you know, 15 to 12. We're tracking it now. It may be as slow as 4 to 6 miles per hour, and it looks like it's starting to turn more to the north. And then at some point later on the night, it'll eventually start to try to turn to the northeast. But because of that, you know, the rain is going to be an unbelievable threat on the eastern side of the storm through the rest of the day today and then into tonight. And there's significant concern about what impact, especially on the North Shore rivers. Those areas are going to see a tremendous amount of rain. So the idea, again, of that 15 to 20 inches that we said locally that could be possible could easily be realized, especially because of this slower movement of the storm.
This is a fascinating storm, and I'm always fascinated that every storm has its own personality and its own characteristics. And I'm sure, from the standpoint of a meteorologist like yourself, you become fascinated, and I don't mean in a positive way, but you become fascinated with storms. And from the very beginning, it seemed like there was just such a consensus about where this storm was going to go, even when it was just a cluster of thunderstorms around Jamaica and south of Cuba. And that just seemed to be a little bit unusual to me from all the storms that I've followed over the years.
Yeah, the one thing, there's been a giant leap in satellite technology and also modeling just in the last 5 to 10 years. So that part of it, the track of a storm, the accuracy there has gone through the roof. It's really improved. Intensity is one area where we're still doing quite a bit of research. But if I could just kind of go back to the one thing that I kind of want to mention, though, about Ida here is that I hadn't really mentioned too much on this side, but people need to understand you can't go outside in the storm right now. Nobody needs to see a picture. Your friend in Boston or whatever does not need to see your picture. Stay safe. I don't think people, since it has worked into the state so slowly all morning, there may be a little bit of fatigue that it'd be as bad as they say, or it's not as bad as it could be, and conditions are going to continue to deteriorate. We're still not even halfway through this thing, so I just want to really hit that while I had the chance, because I still. We're still pretty early on this, and that's a very unfortunate thing, because we're going to be battling with this right up through Monday morning.
Well, all afternoon, Ben, I've addressed the human instinct to be curious about a weather phenomenon like this, and you want to go out and you want to see it and you want to feel it and you want to feel nature's fury like this. But it's very, very dangerous. And we have a producer and a reporter who was just out on the streets of downtown New Orleans, and I mean, this is like an athletic, football built kind of guy, and the wind literally blew him over.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the city of New Orleans is getting really close to be near enough to a portion of the outer eye wall where we were getting gusts in excess of 100 miles per hour. So to be out right now is just asking for trouble, because not only could it be shingles, tree limbs, I don't know what could be blowing around depending on what's still outside for the wind to pick up. Those could all be missiles, and you just don't want to put yourself at risk that way. Ben,
while we have you on the air with us, let's talk just a little bit about wind speeds. So in New Orleans, we've had wind speeds gust over 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, we've had a couple of reports. I think one was at one of the local TV stations. They have a weather sensor there. And we've had some other ones, right on the edge of the city. They're like sensors that aren't directly related to us. It's people that have things like that get filtered in to the web, and we kind of QC them to make sure there's some validity to them.
Right.
But it makes sense when you look at what's going on with the radar. And then, if this does start to continue to turn north, I think some of that outer eye wall will push a little bit more into the city, especially the western side. So it may not make it all the way down into the CBD or in some of those areas, but there could be some very high gusts there as well. But for places like Metairie, Kenner, the idea that they could see triple-digit wind gusts are very high.
Let's talk about the winds when it was coming ashore and the winds that people are experiencing down in some of the other parishes in southeast Louisiana.
Yeah, so we had verified recording wind speeds in the 130 to 140 range. I think a lot of times, we see some video clips and stuff, but you don't hear a lot about what's happening down there, and it's because everything's out. If you start looking at the power grid, like Terrebonne, it's almost 100%. So I don't think people will be really cognizant of the damage and the destruction down there until, I'm sure there's actual video footage of how widespread it is. But when you're talking wind speeds up over 130, 140 miles per hour, it's going to have to take an amazingly well-built structure to sustain against that over the course of a good hour of it beating on you.
So you've talked about this storm slowing down as it goes through this temptation to turn north, which it ultimately will do. How long will we endure this in the southeastern Louisiana parishes and the greater New Orleans area?
Well, at this rate, I don't think it's going to make it to the tidal lakes. So we're talking, right now it may track somewhere over Lake Maupassant or maybe the western portion of Pontchartrain, but that won't be until later tonight. I mean, it's still, west-southwest of the city right now. Like I said, the center of this is still sitting just to the east of Houma, between Houma and Jean Lafitte. So it's not moving real fast. So that's why we keep saying to everybody that we're still kind of on the beginning of this, and that's a very unfortunate thing, especially with the rainfall rates and with the wind speed still sitting well over 100 miles per hour near the eye.
And it's those sustained winds that are just so destructive. I mean, a lot of structures can handle a gust, but when something is just pounding on a structure with a sustained wind, a significant sustained wind, that's when there's a lot of damage.
Yeah, because wind will find whatever weakness it can. So whether it's lifting up a corner on a roof that's a little weak, or maybe it's a garage door that it ends, and then it pushes up on the roof of a home. That's the one thing about wind when it's sustained like that. Yeah, it will find that weakness and it will exploit it.
Ben Schott, meteorologist with the National Weather Service in Slidell. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your expertise, and we'll be in touch.
Okay, thank you very much. I hope everybody stays safe.
All right, thanks. And Ben's biggest comment, I think, was don't go out in this. I mean, it's dangerous. I mean, you could die, and I know there's this intrinsic curiosity that we have in all of us about weather, but don't go out in this. And I really, from what I'm seeing in my studio, from the studio window here downtown, it is awful. And the rest of the country is just having a normal Sunday afternoon. Well, it's not a normal Sunday afternoon here in New Orleans, and we continue with our live coverage of Hurricane Ida. Let's get to some of your calls. Let's go to Phil, who's in Connecticut. Phil, thanks for hanging on. I know some of you have been on hold for an extended period of time, but we've had a couple of officials that we've had to get to. So, Phil, welcome to the show.
Hi, Scoot. How you doing, sir?
I'm good.
First-time caller, I guess, but I have heard you in the past. I'm a retired TV broadcast engineer. Been retired for about 4 years, and I worked 38 years at the ABC affiliate in New Haven, Connecticut, and I know all too well the fun as a broadcaster of getting live shots on the air, dealing with crews out in the field, and making sure that they get on the air safely and everything else. I can well imagine watching those on the Weather Channel. I'm sure your folks there at WWL going out there and putting their necks on the line, but I'll tell you, I've been through a few storms up here. We had the big storm I remember was Gloria back in 85. We had Bob in 91. And then we had another hurricane whose name I can't remember a few years ago. And all the times that we had those storms, we either had the French Canadians or we had the folks from Saskatchewan coming down to get us back online. So we could safely hear we had a lot of out-of-country support to get us back on power.
Well, now, you would have been hit pretty hard by Sandy, right?
Yeah, we did. We got that. Yeah, I was in the middle of that. In fact, I was one of my hobbies. I got two hobbies. One is I'm a ham radio operator, and the other one is I love trains, both models and full size. And I was out in Nebraska chasing trains when they started talking about Sandy, and I ended up having to come back home a few days early. And you think I would stay at home? I says, no. My boss says, hey, Phil, can you come in? And it's like, oy. And you go through all that mess and everything else, and then, you come home and you see how bad your yard looks, and hopefully you have power, and you start doing a cleanup. And on that storm with Sandy, I had some big branches come down.
Well, that's just it. People don't know what they're going to come back to. Those who did evacuate, they don't know what they're going to come back to. I moved from downtown New Orleans to West End, very close to the lake, Friday was my moving day. I haven't even had a chance to settle my furniture. I don't know what I'm going to go back to. I am hoping and praying that everything's okay, but you don't know what you're going to go back to. And Phil, would you describe, since you've been in the business, describe this element of adrenaline that you feel when you cover things like this. It's not an excitement like you're happy that it happens, although sometimes you get the impression that some meteorologists actually enjoy this sort of thing because they get so much attention. But that's a story for another show. But there is an adrenaline. There's an adrenaline rush with this, not about excitement, but just about capturing the moment and doing your job and relating it to the community.
Yeah, well, for me, I work behind the scenes, and I got all the live shots. I mean, back in the day, goodness, you had microwave, you had satellite. Now we have these cell phone backpacks that they were using before I retired. And, you got the producer saying, "Where's my live shot?" And it's like, I says, "Patience, please, patience." And it's like, you just got to, you're on the horn with the guys and gals out in the field trying to coordinate things, particularly, the photographers end up setting up the trucks and the live shots. You check on what we call the IFB. You're talking to the reporter's ear and says, "Can you hear me now?" And, we get them on the air and I tell the director, "Okay, grab this shot, grab that shot." And some days it can be, I can remember some days being so crazy, I literally felt like I just ran a mile. I mean, I could literally feel myself out of breath because it's not the physical taxing; it's the mental taxing.
Yeah,
that's one thing. When I retired from News 8, it's like I don't miss the job at all, but I do miss my friends. But when I had to do my job, I had to do my job. Get folks on the air, make sure they were squared away and everything else, and you feel for the gang being out there in the field. But then, of course, the other nice thing about when you were in storms and everything else is that the news director would loosen up his wallet a little bit. He would have some, fresh-made pizzas from Sally's or whatever place we're in town. So we had our rewards, at least.
Yeah, we've got a smorgasbord in the back here at the radio station. Phil, thanks for streaming the show from Connecticut. I appreciate you joining us with your comments.
God bless all you. I praying for hopefully things won't be nothing as crazy as Katrina, but keep the faith for you guys. God bless.
Thank you, Phil. Let's go to Gretna. Sam, thanks for hanging on. You're on WWL. Hey, Sam.
Good. I'm hunkering down. I'm in kind of old Gretna on the River Road, close to Algiers. So it's picking up over here, like you're saying in downtown. It's my apartment is a shotgun style building that's 2 stories, and I'm facing away from where the winds are going, so I can open my door and see the wind. It's interesting to see, but I'm not trying to stand out there right now.
Yeah. You lost power a long time ago.
Not exactly. I've actually I had power whenever I first called, and it was about an hour ago. Not complaining. I understand everybody's calling, but I lost power about 20 minutes ago, and before then I cooked a bunch of food that was in my freezer. I got frozen water, bottled waters. Just kind of hunkering down, trying to spread the good vibes, man. I mean, the people who are still down here, we're all kind of riding it out.
As bleak as it seems right now for so many people, we are going to get through this. And I don't want to lose sight of this Zen moment that we have to focus on the here and the now and do what we need to do. But if we survive this, if we do the right things and survive this, then we're going to get through this. Played a song a little while ago, and the lyrics were, "Every storm runs out of rain." And this storm is going to move on and run out of rain. It's tough right now, Sam. I appreciate the call. Stay safe. Let's go to Catherine, who's in Uptown New Orleans. Catherine, thank you for hanging on. Tell us what you see uptown.
Oh, my God, Scoot, it's crazy. Probably for the past, pretty much since I've been on hold, it's been banging and a bunch of noise. And wind, it's been rain. There's absolutely no flooding, though.
That's very positive news.
Yeah, there's absolutely, no flooding. In the parking lot of my apartment complex, there's leaves everywhere, but,
yeah,
it's not flooded at all. Scoot, honestly, at some point, when in the world are we going to retire August 29th because, okay, so I'm like a bit of a nerd and have a bit of eidetic memory and stuff like that. But ever since Katrina, every major storm we've ever had has fallen within 3 years of each other on August 29th. So first you had Katrina in 05, Gustav was in 08, Isaac was 2012, Harvey was 2017, and now we've got Ida. So it's like you've got these bad storms that are coming like every 3 years. And so if you just kind of notice a pattern, maybe the next bad one we'll have will be August 29th, 2020.
Well, we certainly hope not. In fact, when you go through something like this, you always hope it's the last one. But realistically, as long as we live in this area, we know there's a possibility that we will experience this. And we just, we've got to stay strong and we've got to stay positive. And I'm not trying to be naive about the reality of what we're going through right now, but I'm also going to feed that human spirit about how we're going to have to be strong and we're going to get through this, and we will recover, and we will be at a better place at a better time. And the Saints will play the opening season game, hopefully against the Green Bay Packers, and LSU will open the season in California against UCLA, and we will get back to reality. But right now, this is our reality.
Yeah, believe it or not, this is actually like the first time I'm ever riding out a hurricane. And to me, in some kind of ways, with like I say, with me being a nerd, I'm kind of fascinated by nature. So it's like just kind of like getting to see this, and I'm kind of sitting here, little hurricane party, and I'm playing hunker down, and like the hunker down thing. You probably need to explain what that is for the folks like who are probably listening. They're not from here, but I've been playing hunker down maybe since, I don't know, maybe like not even, maybe I'm a little bit.
Well, I'm thinking that maybe hunker down is a military term, and it was when people were being hit with shells from the enemy that they had to hunker down in their foxhole or in their little bunker.
Well, Scoot, here in New Orleans, we use that for a completely different term.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's actually like kind of exciting in the way to
well, I know it's exciting without it being exciting in terms of like there's nothing happy about this, but there is an element of excitement for human beings in seeing this kind of natural fury. Catherine, I appreciate the call. Stay safe and just be safe and try to do the right thing. And I appreciate the call. All right, where are we here, Ian? Can we keep going here?
Yeah, please.
Okay, because, again, we're just, this is, reality. We're just dealing with this live as we go. Let me get to some more of your calls. Let's go to Lee, who's at the lakefront. Lee, you're on WWL. Thank you for hanging on, Lee.
No problem, Scoot. It's great to be able to talk to you. You were talking about radios before. I've been listening to you today from a little transistor radio I have.
Wow.
It takes two AAA batteries.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's awesome though.
You're kicking it old. You're kicking it old school.
Very old school. But I mean, this is as cordless as you can get.
Yeah.
And I'm even talking to you on a landline, so I'll tell you, I'm doing it all old school today. The only reason I'm talking to you on the landline because I don't want people to not know if there's lightning, you do not get on a landline. Because that's wired to the street and all that stuff. It could be dangerous, I've heard.
All right. Well, thanks for that bit of information.
Yeah.
So you're writing. You're writing this out, Lee.
Yes.
Why did you decide? I mean, there wasn't anything that told you to get the hell out of here.
No. Well, I mean, look, we wrote out Zeta last year, right? Because of COVID, I think for a large degree.
Yeah.
And I mean, COVID's not gone.
Right.
So, that Zeta, it went like really right over us.
Yeah, Zeta flew by. Yeah, Zeta flew by, and that was October. So being without power was not a bad thing because actually a couple of cool fronts had come through here, and it was actually the temperatures were pleasant. You didn't miss air conditioning. People are going to really be suffering because it's August the 29th, and we're still in some really, really hot weather.
Well, again, like I said, I know that some people are going to shelters, and I know that to tell you the truth, in the thing that we're involved in here with the Delta, to me, a shelter is the last resort thing, in a way. So, like I said, we wrote out Zeta here at the house, and that one literally went right over our heads, you know, and it was a 3, and I remember being kind of scared, when it was at the worst of it. But, when I was a kid, we never ran for storms.
Well,
we stayed.
Look, we lived close to the lake in Metairie when I was a kid when Betsy hit, and my dad did evacuate us downtown to a Hotel Monteleone. And I remember staying there with family. We had a few friends from our neighborhood whose father was out of town, and they came down with us. And I saw some sights, and there were times that it was really, really scary. Lee, stay safe, and I hope you get through this okay.
And listen, that guy that called earlier, his name is Guy.
Yeah.
That was something. That really was something. Yeah. And I hope he knows that that there's a lot of people out here that not only feel like him. Yeah. We're all have our little problems with this, but it's going to be okay. And he's got a lot of support. Probably.
Well, and here's the president of St. Bernard Parish, a guy who has probably had very, very little sleep deprived, and just totally stressed out and distracted, and doing his job. Yeah. And I didn't mean to bring that up. I thought I was just, wanting to let him know I cared about his family, and just bringing up his family caused him to react.
We're so many people out here are thinking about the people who are out there going through really bad stuff. We really are.
All right, Lee. Thanks a lot. Hang in there.
Thank you.
You'll get through this. And let's think about this for just one moment. The last big storm that came through New Orleans last October, Zeta. Okay, that's the Greek alphabet. When you start running out of named storms, they have so many storms that you run out of names that you go to the Greek alphabet. That just reminds you that you've had a lot of storms. Last year, we had a lot of storms. I was hoping this year we would just be spared, but that's not the case, and we will deal with this, and we will get back to it. All right, let's. Okay. I'm going to continue on here. I'm getting hand signals from Ian Hoke in the other studio, and we'll get to some text messages here in just a few minutes.
Throw an outside spinner.
No, it's all right. Audible at the line. Omaha. Let's go to Bob in Tangipahoa Parish. Bob, welcome to the show.
Hey, Scoot. First of all, thank y'all for reporting in and giving all of us the information. All the news people that's out there doing this for us as well to try to give us the heads up of what's going on. But out here in Tangi, it's getting bad, but we haven't got the bad stuff yet. But the rains and the winds, they're all going from east to west right now. I mean, it's pretty pounding out here.
Yeah. Do you see any sense of flooding?
We got a little bit of flooding right here by us. Mm-hmm. But it's almost like a normal thing. In all actuality, my wife and myself survived the 2016 flood, and we're still recovering from it. We're living in a camper at a campground in Baptist, which is right outside of Hammond, and we're not the only ones. There's a bunch of people out here that same position that we are, but we all work, we all surviving, and we'll all make it through this.
I love your attitude, Bob, and I appreciate the call. And just stay strong. And you've been through challenges before. You know you're going to get through this one too.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And again, thank y'all very much for giving us the heads up on everything.
Well, Bob, this is what we do, so we're happy to do it. We don't expect any compliments because this is what we do, but I'm glad you appreciate that, so thank you very much. Let's go to Ian Hoke with a couple of your text messages.
Hey, you know what? Actually, I want to throw it real quick to Patrick Harvey, who's in the Plaquemines Parish Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness.
Okay.
Let's see what Patrick has in.
All right, Patrick, welcome to the show. Good afternoon. Well, I really hesitate saying good afternoon because it's not that good, but afternoon. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you, Scott.
Tell us what's going on in Plaquemines Parish. I know you're taking a hard hit.
We taking a hard hit. We
We're breaking up badly, Patrick. That's to be expected at a time like this. It's a miracle that we even have these connections. Let's try again. What's the worst area of Plaquemines Parish right now?
Right now, we've experienced a little overtopping in the Braithwaite area, White Ditch area. They have about a 50-foot section that's getting some water coming over the highway there into the that levee, and also some part of that area by the Carnarvon floodgate. We had some sandbags there, and the water came up and washed out some of those sandbags. So we have some overtopping area. It's not to the. We sent out an emergency notification as a precaution, just for if anyone's still in that area to seek higher ground. But it's not an Isaac event, not a levee breach. It's just some overtopping, and we expect the levels to come up a little bit more, but it should drop off later on this evening. It's not, it's seeping over the levee system right now.
So what is the attitude? I mean, I know you're distracted with work. Your Plaquemines Parish, your Homeland Security Emergency Preparedness Office. What is the attitude in the office right now as we go through this at this very moment?
We positive. We're doing the best that we can. We're getting tired. A long 3-4 days just preparing for this storm, and it's going to be for the next 24 hours or so. It seems like. We're going to be getting these winds. Well, the high tropical force winds, we're going to still see these until 6-7 o'clock tomorrow morning. So it's been tiresome for our residents. And, we issued the mandatory evacuations Friday and increased it late Friday afternoon for the Jesuit area, and then the voluntary evacuation for the Bellchase area yesterday. We're going to continue to monitor our levees as coming up in the southern part of the parish on the West Bank.
Yeah, I'm assuming people are staying off the street. That sightseers are not a problem at this point.
Staying off the streets, and it's been hell. Throughout the gusts over 100-something miles an hour here in the Bellchase area. We had gusts at 80, 90 throughout the day, so most people.
Yeah, Patrick, Tommy Tucker's joining us. Tommy Tucker does the morning show here on WWL, and he's a part of our hurricane coverage team, and he lives in Plaquemines Parish.
In Bellchase, yeah. Ernie, the question I would have...
Right here in Bellchase.
Huh?
You're a resident right here in Bellchase, and I think you're out.
Yeah, no, the question I wanted to ask you about Braithwaite is... Yeah. A couple of years ago, the levee broke and they had some people. The water came up quickly and they drowned. You're talking about the same area, and this is nowhere near like that, correct?
It's nowhere near like that. It's not the complete failure. Those are a lot smaller. It's a hurricane. Have been raised over in the past 9 years. But we do have some overtopping going on in the southern portion of that levee system by White Ditch, and also the northern portion of that area by the Carnarvon Canal, by the flood wall, basically. So it's coming over, but it's not nowhere near like it was back in 2012.
Because my phone was blowing up from people, and I wanted to jump in here and ask you that because the CNN they get a story, and everybody wants it to be, flooding, levees overtop, disastrous. First of all, this is not the Mississippi River levee. This is the back levee, and this is not anywhere near like it was when it killed the people. 2012, was it?
Yes, sir.
Gotcha.
2012 for Hurricane Isaac.
Right.
We had the two deaths back then. Back then, the president had issued the mandatory vaccination.
Hi. Thank you, sir.
It's Tommy Tucker joining us with Patrick Harvey. Patrick, thank you for being with us. Stay safe, and if you need to get a message to the people, please call us back. All right, we kind of had a bad connection there. Patrick Harvey, I think we know exactly what you said. It does seem like things are better than 2012, so that's good. But I'm just still watching and hearing relentless rain pounding against the window. If you're on hold, stay with us. And again, we've got some special people that we have to get information out, but we do want to get to all of your calls. I thank for those of you who are on hold. Stay patient. We'll get to more of your calls. We'll continue with our live coverage of Hurricane Ida happening right now. Okay, right now we're going to go live to St. Charles Parish. St. Charles Parish School Board President Ken Ortley. Make sure I got the name right. Ken Ortling. Ken, thanks for being with us. You're in the eye of the storm in St. Charles Parish right now. Tell us what you see.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you for having me. And actually, I'm the school system superintendent, not school board president.
Okay.
But, I'm actually at the central office just down the road from our EOC, and it's pretty amazing, man. It's unbridled strength of a hurricane for sure. 3 trees just went down at our central office facility. It's I almost describe it like being in a shark tank, under the ocean. You're kind of protected from a sense, but you understand the terror that's out there for sure.
Yeah. Ken, so at this point, are you still feeling the fury of the storm, or are you in the eye to the point where it's calmed down?
Absolutely.
So you're in the wall of the eye.
It is furious right now.
Okay.
It is anger unleashed, to say the least.
At some point, you may feel the calm of the eye, and it's like halftime at a game. There's another half still to come.
Yes, sir. Well, we, and I go to a lot of Saints games, so I certainly know what halftime feels like. But it is certainly, amazing to think of the strength that's within a hurricane and, the power that it possesses for sure.
What has surprised you most about Ida?
One, right now, that it slowed down. Obviously, the strength of it, our original projection of it from the parish standpoint was we thought we were going to get, pretty substantial impacts from it, and that's kind of held true. So I'm glad our parish president, called the evacuation order, and most people, got out when they could. It is certainly to experience, I'm here and a couple of our other staff members at our EOC experiencing the same thing. But it is something to behold, the strength of the storm. I would not have expected to see something like this. I was in the Navy 6 years on a submarine, and certainly haven't experienced, kind of, I'd say fear from a sense, just the power of the wind and the hurricane,
And just the idea that we have no control over it is something that is very unsettling to humans.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. And, and to think with the school system, we devote so much time to teaching our kids how to prepare themselves, for their future. But, Mother Nature obviously tends to teach us lessons that we typically wouldn't have experienced in the classroom.
Well, and since you're an educator, this is also a teaching moment, and you teach your kids that when there's a tough challenge in life like a hurricane, and you may live in another part of the country where there's another tough challenge, and sometimes we have storms that are more virtual than they are like tangible, like this storm. But we have to learn to stay positive and deal with the storm, and know that whatever we're going through is going to come to an end, and we are going to be okay if we stay smart through the storm.
Absolutely, Stu. We are kind of our motto is, you and I, we are St. Charles Parish Public Schools, but, we often reflect on not being bitter, being better. When we think about being bitter, regardless of what the challenges are, it's an opportunity to really come together for everyone. And we got to be better from it. We'll learn from it, just like we have with COVID. And, this is just another challenge, and we'll overcome it as soon as it's done, for sure.
All right, Ken Ortling, who is the school system superintendent for St. Charles Parish, thank you for this eyewitness report of being in the wall of the eye. Thanks a lot. Stay safe.
Yes, sir. Scoot. Take care.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right. Let's see. What can we do here? Okay. Let's go to Thibodaux. And Claude, you're in WWL. Claude, what are you feeling in Thibodaux right now?
Man, Scoop, this is terrible. This is absolutely terrible. I ain't never seen nothing like this in my entire lifetime.
You've seen other storms, and this is the worst you've seen.
Oh no, dude, it ain't even close. Ain't even close, Scoop. I mean, we was in my trailer house, and it just peeled the top right off the trailer house. And my landlady got a big, nice brick house, and she was nice enough to put us in there. But it's bad, Scoop. It's real bad.
Well, Claude, so you're in a house now. You're safe now.
Yeah, I'm safe now, but there are a lot of people that's in bad trouble right now. Real bad trouble.
Claude, were you in your trailer home when the roof blew off?
Yeah, we was able to get out of here. I mean, when it calmed down, we were laughing because they got some boats down there, and them boats just picked up and flew off, and we was like, oh Lord! And then all of a sudden, the roof come off the house, and on the trailer, we got up out the house, and we ran best we could, but it's real bad down here, man, real bad.
Well, Claude, I'm glad you're safe. Stay safe. I can only imagine what it would feel like to be in a home and have the roof just fly off the top. You got to feel so vulnerable. But you. No,
I ain't never seen nothing like this, man. Scoop, I've been listening to you a long time, man. I ain't never seen nothing like this. This is real bad. I mean, I'm just. I mean, y'all talking to people from all over the country. We all need to be talking to some people down here because it's real bad.
Yeah. All right, well, Claude, you hang on. You know, you could still, you've got to be courageous. You'll get through. If you stay safe and you live through this, you know you're going to come back. Try not to be afraid, but be respectful of what you're dealing with because it's bad.
No, I'm just saying because I don't use up most of my battery waiting on a phone call. Y'all need to be talking to some people around here.
Yeah.
I mean, because the people up in Connecticut ain't worried about this. Well, it's real bad down here.
Well, we deal with who calls us, and a lot of people who are in your situation don't have the ability to call us, and you did, so I appreciate the update. Thoughts and prayers are with you, Claude. Stay strong, and you'll get through this. All right, I'm Scoot, and we'll be right back with more of our live coverage of Ida, a hurricane happening right now on WWL.
Guys, as a urologist, I've seen it all. What's normal for some men may not be normal for others. If your normal down there is off because of a bend with a bump that bothers you, it could be Peyronie's disease, also called PD. Learn more about the condition at takeonpd.com. Peyronie's disease is a treatable condition that involves a buildup of scar tissue. In some men, PD may be caused by a minor injury or repeated injuries that might not have been noticed at the time. So find a urologist who can diagnose and treat Peyronie's disease and can explain all your options, including non-surgical treatments. Don't wait. Find a specially trained urologist at takeonpd.com today.
At Heron Home and Outdoor, we pride ourselves on providing thick, healthy, weed-free lawns. Keeping the grass on your lawn green and your shrubs and trees in tip-top shape is our specialty. Visit myheronhome.com today for a free quote and money-saving offers. Heron Home and Outdoor, your local lawn and pest experts.
Check out the Now Trending channel on Audacy, presented by Macy's. Tune in for the best summer vibes from all your favorite artists, all in one place on Now Trending. From swimwear and sandals to outdoor dinnerware and grilling tools, go to Macy's.com for all your summer needs. Check out the Now Trending channel on Audacy, presented by Macy's. Tune in for the best summer vibes from all your favorite artists, all in one place on Now Trending. From swimwear and sandals to outdoor dinnerware and grilling tools, go to Macy's.com for all your summer needs. Check out the on Audacy, presented by Macy's. Tune in for the best summer vibes from all your favorite artists, all in one place on Now Trending. From swimwear and sandals to outdoor dinnerware and grilling tools, go to Macy's.com for all your summer needs.
180 over 111, and I had a stroke. I couldn't speak or walk.
This is high blood pressure. Get back on your plan. Go to loweryourhbp.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association, American Medical Association, and the Ad Council.
We continue with our live coverage of Hurricane Ida. It's happening right now, and we are live on the air here on WWL. I'm Scoot on the air. Mark Romig is with New Orleans and Company. Mark, welcome to the show. I've got time for a quick comment. It's a tough time for New Orleans.
Thank you, Scoot, for picking us up. I just want to thank you for being so focused and calm for everybody else. Hospitality industry is obviously focused and making sure that not only our citizens are good, but anybody that's in town who happens to be hunkering down. So thank you for what you're doing. I'm here with my mom and David, and we're hunkered down. And just thank you. We'll be listening to WWL all night.
Mark Robing, thank you very much. New Orleans and Company, you do a lot for the city. Thanks. Tommy Tucker is coming up next.
So in the last 4 hours that I've been asleep, I hear the storm has slowed.
It's slowed down. We just talked to somebody with the National Weather Service, Ben Schott, and he said that the storm has slowed down near Homa. And, you see what we're getting in New Orleans is one of the huge feeder bands, Tommy, and winds of 130, 140 miles an hour. We're hitting the coast. We've had gusts over 100 miles an hour in downtown New Orleans. So far, it seems like the flooding situation is okay, but that could, of course, change as time goes on.
All right, we'll be here through it all. You know that.
Tommy Tucker's coming up, and I'm going to go get some sleep. And I think Ian and I are coming back at 2 a.m. So we'll be back at 2 a.m. And I'm hoping this thing is kind of getting out of here by then. But please join us from 2 a.m. on, because I want to know what's going on. I'm Scoot on the air. We will continue with live coverage of Ida on WWL.
Continuing coverage of Ida on 870 AM WWL New Orleans, 105.3 WWL-FM and HD1 Kenner New Orleans, WLMG and WLMG HD1 New Orleans, WKBU and WKBU HD1 New Orleans, and WEZB and WEZB HD1 New Orleans. Audacy stations.
WWL First News, it's 6 o'clock. I'm Chris Miller on your official weather station, WWL-AM-FMN.com. Hurricane Ida has weakened to top winds of 125 miles per hour. Makes it a Category 3, still a dangerous, powerful storm, moving northwest at 10 miles per hour, currently about 5 miles east of Homa. WWL Chief Meteorologist Chris Franklin tells us more about its forecast.
The center of Ida is now starting to move inland further and approaching the Homa and Thibodaux area, where we can see the core of the strongest winds moving toward the northern bayou parishes and then continuing along a path toward the river parishes. We will start to see some of the strongest winds continuing through the afternoon and into the evening across Metro New Orleans, and that, of course, will also be spreading northward toward the North Shore parishes. This will continue through the overnight with finally improving conditions sometime by midday on Monday.
The winds whipping up here in downtown New Orleans as Ida continues moving to the northwest. WWL's Dave Cohen reports from the CBD.
Ida's winds have blown into New Orleans with fierce power. They've uprooted trees, cracked power poles in half, ripped down power lines and limbs. We've seen awnings go flying off of buildings, and all sorts of debris, including parts of roofs. The higher gusts will actually move you from where you're standing. The wind is blowing so hard.
New Orleans Director of Emergency Preparedness Colin Arnold says Ida will only get worse as the evening goes on.
As Ida moves closer, it is near certainly that we will see sustained winds of 75 miles per hour or higher, up to 110 miles per hour in New Orleans.
City officials say these winds are life-threatening to anyone not indoors. After the storm, officials want people to stay inside until debris can be cleared and authorities can assess the status of public safety. An RTA ferry moored in Chalmette broke free and began drifting away up the river. The winds out of the east powerful enough to push the boat against the current. St. Bernard Parish President Guy McGinnis told WWL-TV.
Broke loose and is being pushed upstream by the wind, and there's nothing that can be done at this moment, but obviously we got a ferry in the river.
Jefferson Parish updating its residents, advising them about using 911 during the storm. WWL's Tom Peyronie reports.
Parish President Cynthia Lee Shang cautioned residents of the parish to use 911 only for life-threatening emergencies.
We want to keep only life-threatening, very serious, very critical issues to our 911. So if it's life-threatening, it's down power lines, it's something very dangerous in our community, or if you are suffering from something that needs immediate attention, they are not going to be able to respond all the time during the storm, but it is appropriate to call 911.
Shang also expressed concerns for the roughly 40 people on Grand Isle who stayed behind to ride out Hurricane Ida rather than evacuate.
Louisiana Governor John Bell Edwards says Hurricane Ida will be too much for some levee systems.
Based on the hurricane track and the wind, rain, and surge forecast for the remainder of the hurricane, the CPRA is anticipating some overtopping of the southeast portions of the LaRose to Golden Meadow levee system, non-federal back levees around Middle Grove and Alliance in Plaquemines Parish, and non-federal levees in Lower St. Bernard Parish as well.
Edwards says officials do not expect problems with the New Orleans area system. Also notes that overtopping is not the same as a levee failure. A partial generator failure at Thibodaux Regional Health System had doctors and nurses scrambling, manually operating ventilators while moving patients to floors that still had power so mechanical life support could take over. More than 500,000 power outages right now in Louisiana, more than 176,000 out in Jefferson Parish. That's where most of the outages are, more than 148,000 out in New Orleans. The Bayou parishes have significant outages, more than 37,000 outages in Lafourche Parish, more than 27,000 outages in Terrebonne, significant outages in St. Bernard, Plaquemines, and St. Charles parishes as well.
Now, your Garcia Roofing forecast on WWL.
We've unfortunately seen Ida slow down a little bit. It is a slow go. Again, it is still sitting over fairly warm marsh water, which is why the process of it weakening has been rather slow, and the storm itself has slowed down, which is because of a longer duration of those strong winds across Galliano, Tahoma, and Thibodaux, and then eventually as it continues up toward the river parishes. We are going to avoid the core of the strongest winds in the city and the metro area. However, the strongest winds will continue to pick up and likely remain high through the rest of the afternoon and into tonight. So it is going to be a rough night for many across southeast Louisiana. The good news is we should start to see the wind subsiding overnight tonight. Likely still some heavy rainfall at times Monday morning, but improving conditions by midday Monday. From your local weather expert forecast center, I'm WWL-TV Chief Meteorologist Chris Franklin.
East wind 48 miles an hour, gust to 74, 76 degrees at Armstrong New Orleans International. Here in downtown, winds just 23 miles an hour, but gusting up to 46, it's 77 degrees. In Galliano, 76 degrees, winds out of the south at 64 miles an hour, gusting up to 95. I'm Chris Miller, WWL First News.
On WWL-AM-FM.com and the Audacy app, Louisiana's official emergency management station. It's continuing coverage of Ida. Live from our Jefferson Financial Federal Credit Union studios. Also on Magic 101.9, Bayou 95.7, and B97. Connect now on the Oakland Hart Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870. Now, back to Team WWL.
Tommy Tucker in now. For those of you that are getting messages, and my phone's blowing up, living in Plaquemines Parish, there has been a levee that is overtopped in Braithwaite, but it's not the way that it was in 2012. Nobody's life is imminently at danger, but they are saying leave now if you've not yet done that. Ben Schott joins us now, meteorologist at the National Weather Service. Ben, I guess for those that have been wondering when is Ida going to get here, the answer is now.
Yeah, knocking on the door this morning and all the way in now. Yep.
So what are we looking at in terms of wind velocity? I guess you got gauges in different areas?
Yeah, so, that's been kind of interesting. When it first came along the coast, we had observations well into the 130, 140 range down near Grand Isle, working its way over towards Fort Fourchon, and then moving in through Golden Meadows and up towards Homa. We've seen in excess of 100 miles per hour, pretty common at multiple spots. And then we've had some other places that we're still going to go back. We'll probably look a little bit more. But even now, as the center of it sitting around Raceland or so right now, we're still looking for, some very high winds, especially affecting, the western portion of the metro for New Orleans.
Let's talk about the movement of the storm and the fact that it slowed from what to where it is now, speed-wise.
Yeah, so when it was first coming on shore, we were seeing that, close to 15 miles per hour to the northwest. By the time it got to mid-morning, the late morning, the noon hour, it slowed down to about 12 miles per hour. And now, for about the last 2 hours, it's trying to make this turn to the north, and because of that, it's kind of slowed down to a crawl, just maybe somewhere in about the 2 to 5 mile per hour. And it's mostly movement now is more north, which puts New Orleans in a much less favorable area. Folks over towards the Baton Rouge metro, they're going to see a little bit lesser effects from this than what we thought even just 6 or 12 hours ago.
Well, let's talk about that specifically for people in the New Orleans area and Upper Jefferson Parish, Plaquemines Parish, Upper Plaquemines Parish. What we were anticipating 6 to 12 hours ago has now changed to what in terms of wind, in terms of rainfall, time periods, etc.?
Yeah, I would say the rainfall amounts are still pretty good because we were still highlighting, much of that area that could see, upwards of 15 inches. And then if you got under a heavier band where you're seeing 3 to 4 inch per hour rain rates, you could easily push some places close to 20 if it were to be persistent for an extended period of time. I still think there'll be some place like that because this storm isn't moving that fast. What you're seeing now is going to last for multiple more hours into the night. And we're not going to see any relief until Monday morning. So rainfall is going to be one of the bigger concerns at this point. But with the center of it not collapsing real fast as it's come on shore, we're still seeing extreme wind issues close to the eye. And we're seeing some gusts, that could be pretty extensive, right now near maybe Laplace and over Destrehan, Norco. And like I said, maybe even as far east as in the Metairie and Kenner. We've been having some issues trying to get the information from the radar that's at the airport there, so I don't have an exact wind speed right now out at the airport, unfortunately.
6 hours ago, they were talking about, I think, between Montague and Chauvin, and then making its way up through the Lafourche Parish and Terrebonne Parish. But that's changed now. It's heading north, so the center of the eye would generally now be passing over, and I know we don't want to get caught on the center, but just in terms of people that don't have a map and are trying to picture this in their minds.
Yeah, right now it is sitting pretty much right over the top of Raceland.
Okay.
And I think over time, here in the next couple of hours, it may approach Laplace. So that's much different than what we were thinking 12 hours ago. Right now, 12 hours ago, we were thinking that it would go through, come in somewhere around Port Fourchon, Thibodaux, work its way to Baton Rouge, and that's not happened. It's way off to the east, obviously, from that track. It's still within the cone of uncertainty if you wanted to use that as a rule of thumb. But, I think a lot of folks in New Orleans had the impression that, the bigger issue is going to be over in Baton Rouge, and maybe some folks thought that they had a little bit more comfort with this, but Ida decided to go a different path, and here we are. And so basically, if you're in the metro area for New Orleans right now, you're in probably in a lot of heavy downpours. You're going to see wind gusts in excess of 80 miles per hour possible, maybe pushing triple digits, because the outer eye wall is starting to kind of collapse, but it is pushing across portions of the western metro, and the inner eye wall right now looks like it may, like I said, get somewhere near Norco, Laplace. So those areas are going to take a beating by the winds itself just in the course of the next couple of hours.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about take a beating and the heavy rain and the winds and so forth. And at the rate the storm is moving, what we're experiencing here in the New Orleans area, in the metro area, is going to be this way and get worse before it gets better, and that's going to last over the next several hours? Accurate or not?
I would say what you're seeing right now probably won't get much better between now and maybe 10 o'clock. There may be some improvement on the wind side as we move after midnight, because at that point, then the center of this may be up near maybe Hammond at that point, and so it takes New Orleans in at that point out of the favorable wind side of it. But you're still going to have the chance for some pretty heavy rain through much of the overnight, and so the flash flooding threat will continue.
Is there any indication that it's going to either pick up speed or slow down more, stay like it is? And what about directionally? Is there any chance that it would go even further to the east? It's going to want to eventually start to turn to the northeast as we get to the early morning hours on Monday. So I would think this northerly trajectory will probably continue through the next 6 to 8 hours before sometime as we get close to the early morning hours of Monday, it may start to pull off to the northeast and into Mississippi. So, especially the North Shore area, that's an area that they're going to be under the gun now for the next 6 to 8 hours. Hopefully you're in a nice spot where you can stay safe and secure and just keep weather aware, with what's going on. And the number one thing at this point is don't get out in this. Don't try to drive in this. That with the sun going down here soon, that would be probably the most unfortunate life-risking thing that anyone could do right now. In terms of flooding, we all know about the South Shore and pumps and rains. What about this change? Does it affect the storm surge models at all? And for whom? And what about riverine flooding on the North Shore?
Yeah, so the surge, nothing's really changed too much there. We had a pretty decent value, I think, for the lakes and tidal lakes and what was being pushed in from the easterly flow. Soon, when the circulation gets north of the lakes, you'll get a northerly flow or a northwesterly flow. It helps start flushing the water out. But over the course of the next 6 to 12 hours, right now it's backing up any water that's trying to come down the rivers on the North Shore or the creeks or streams and any of the lakes or tidal lakes there. So those rivers are going to come up, and we're expecting anywhere from moderate to major flooding on almost all the basins across the North Shore.
And tornadoes, that just happens when it happens, I guess, right?
Yeah, they're something that's pretty common on the eastern side of these systems as they make landfall. Right now, we've had a few warnings out throughout the day. We've been pretty lucky that there haven't been more numerous, but most of them right now have been on the North Shore and over on the Mississippi Gulf Coast.
And there's just been issued a flash flood warning for St. Tammany Parish. For those of us on the South Shore, what we're having right now, we're going to have until about midnight, correct me if I'm wrong, rainfall totals could go as high as?
I would say, right now, I would easily say probably a foot of rain could be easily by everything said or done, and higher if you get caught under one of the heavier bands.
And in terms of winds sustained and gusts for the next 6 hours, metro area?
So on the western side of the New Orleans metro on the South Shore, you could easily have 60, 70 sustained with gusts to push in triple digits around 100. And if you're on the North Shore, 40 to 60 with some gusts 70 to 80 are possible, probably now through the early morning hours on Monday.
Thank you, Ben. Anything else you want to add that I might have missed?
I just hope people, again, there's still a little bit of daylight out there. Just don't go outside and try to take pictures. You just put yourself at risk. Just stay hunkered down, stay safe, and we'll all get through this, and we can start to clean up tomorrow.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Very good words of advice. Ben Schott, meteorologist at the National Weather Service, and if you're wondering when it was going to be here, it's here, and you heard what we're going to be expecting for the next 6 hours, I guess, here, and then the North Shore, it moves there. 504-260-1870. The phone lines are open. I would love to talk to you and hear where you are and what you're listening and what you're going through. And Max Uptown, hi, you're on WWL. Good morning. Afternoon,
hey,
I'm sorry.
How you doing, man?
Hey, good.
Hey, how you doing?
How you?
Yeah. I'm uptown, and we had to go outside about an hour ago because the gas lantern above the door blew out, so we went to go, cut it off. And as my mother was standing out there, the ground looked like it started breathing. And I quickly got her to get out of the way because the tree on the side of the house that would have came crashed down in the house, we had to tie it off from the telephone pole and then anchor that to the ground. So it's pretty bad wind-wise. I mean, a lot of limbs and things and tiles and stuff getting blown off houses and stuff around here, and the sustained gust is really what's surprising to me, being a New Orleans native my whole life. I mean, this is the kind of what we go through with this, living down here in New Orleans. It's just something that happens during hurricane season, but it's really picking up with the wind and the gust of debris, outside.
Yeah, leverage is a funny thing, Max, and I don't want to encourage anybody to do that. You're talking about a big hardwood and oak that was going to be uprooted, right? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, yeah. It was literally looked like it was about to just fall over and crash into the side of our house. So
I don't want you to pull that. I don't want you to pull that utility pole over with it, though. That's why I said leverage is a funny thing. I don't know. No, I'm not joking, really.
It's like a secondary line. We just wrapped it around the pole. That's not the main thing holding it from falling.
Okay. No. All right. Thank you, Max.
No problem.
Take it easy. And for those of you that don't know, pines generally snap. A hardwood, oaks like those kind of things that Max is talking about, that's the big thing you see that uproots and bends over and pulls the ground up with it, sidewalk, etc. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk to Jacqueline Hotard, president of St. John the Baptist Parish. Things kind of got worse for them in the last couple hours. And we'll pick it up when we come back. This is continuous coverage of Hurricane Ida on Audacy's family of radio stations, WWL-AM-FM.com, and the Audacy app. Also on Magic 101.9, B97, and Bayou 95.7. I'm Tommy Tucker, back in a flash.
Guys, as a urologist, I've seen it all. What's normal for some men may not be normal for others. If your normal down there is off because of a bend with a bump that bothers you, it could be Peyronie's disease, also called PD. Learn more about the condition at takeonpd.com. Peyronie's disease is a treatable condition that involves a buildup of scar tissue. In some men, PD may be caused by a minor injury or repeated injuries that might not have been noticed at the time. So find a urologist who can diagnose and treat Peyronie's disease and can explain all your options, including non-surgical treatments. Don't wait. Find a specially trained urologist at takeonpd.com today.
At Heron Home and Outdoor, we pride ourselves on providing thick, healthy, weed-free lawns. Keeping the grass on your lawn green and your shrubs and trees in tip-top shape is our specialty. Visit myheronhome.com today for a free quote and money-saving offers. Heron Home and Outdoor, your local lawn and pest experts.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them? Would you notice an 8-year-old girl who's not excited for summer break
because she may not be having lunch again until September?
Or a war veteran who's having a hard time landing
a job and getting back on his feet?
I am the 1 in 8 Americans who struggle with hunger. I am hunger in America.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org, brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Looking for a way to make online learning a better option for your family? When it comes to virtual learning, experience matters. Tuition-free K-12 powered schools are ready to put over 20 years of experience to work for you, giving your child the personalized learning they deserve without disruptions. With a K-12 powered school, students gain the skills they need to be prepared for their next steps in life, building a better future for each one of us. K-12, education for anyone. Learn more at K12.com.
CuriosityStream has thousands of documentary films and shows available on demand on any device. We're the Netflix for nerds, the Hulu for history buffs, the Disney Plus for the scientist in us. There sure are a lot of streaming services, aren't there? CuriosityStream is the one you definitely need if you're the type to nature dock and chill, if you're an armchair astronaut, if you prefer physics to psychics, or perhaps you know a precocious paleontologist. Go to curiositystream.com to learn more and sign up today.
Coming September 1st, Rewind 9/11.
Today, we've had a national tragedy.
An incredible plane crash into the World Trade Center.
A look back at the tragedy of that day.
Another explosion has taken place at the Pentagon.
It became very apparent that what was happening was terrorism.
Fox News presents Rewind 9/11.
The people who knocked these buildings down will hear all of us soon.
Listen on Audacy.
Check out the Now Trending channel on Audacy, presented by Macy's. Tune in for the best summer vibes from all your favorite artists, all in one place on Now Trending. From swimwear and sandals to outdoor dinnerwear and grilling tools, go to Macy's.com for all your summer needs.
CuriosityStream has thousands of documentary films and shows available on demand on any device. We're the Netflix for nerds, the Hulu for history buffs, the Disney Plus for the scientist in us. There sure are a lot of streaming services, aren't there? CuriosityStream is the one you definitely need if you're the type to nature dock and chill, if you're an armchair astronaut, if you prefer physics to psychics, or perhaps you know a precocious paleontologist. Go to curiositystream.com to learn more and sign up today.
It's continuing coverage of Ida on WWL, Louisiana's official emergency management station. Also on Magic 101.9, Bayou 95.7, and B97. Connect now on the Oakland Jewelers talk and text line, 504-260-1870.
Tommy Tucker talking to Gordon Dove, the Terrebonne Parish president. Gordon, you guys have been getting it for quite some time now. What's the situation?
Well, it looks like it's finally calming down. I mean, calming down, when I say calming down, I'm talking 50 to 75 miles an hour wind still. But we experienced everywhere from 140 to gust up to 160 we were clocking. Even though we were on the west side, Terrebonne Parish took a hammer. I believe we were going to have a lot of roofs. I heard of a couple of houses that were blown away, but we don't have an assessment. And this was catastrophic. I believe it may go down in the history books as a Cat 5 when they look at everything, because this thing was blowing. And on the west side, we got a lot of rain. I mean, we really got inundated with rain. I don't have anything to say how much, but it had to be 12, 15 inches of rain if I had to guess. At least that, if not more than that. And our bayous are swollen, but everything. If we don't turn around and if we keep this north wind going, if we don't get a south wind pushing water back in, I believe water-wise we're going to be fine. But like I said, we have to assess everything, so we're not sure how many homes flooded, if any. I mean, we just don't have anything right now. And I see our police cars. I just saw 4 of them. They on the road with the lights on. We had the power plant. Our power plant, we about lost the roof on it. We've had a lot of structural damage. We had to evacuate our men to the Civic Center out of there. And as far as I know, no one was hurt. We was able to get them out. But that building was retrofitted years back as a Cat 4. So it messed up that building, the boilers, and our local power plant, which is the 84 megawatt power plant, took a beating. And but all in all, we just got to assess everything. I've ordered I've asked the state for a helicopter as soon as we can fly tomorrow, and we're gonna get up in the air and get an assessment and be happy to report to the public where we at. And I know there's a lot of roof damage, a lot of shingles flying off around here. It's like I said, some roofs and a lot of roofs, and but we still blowing. We still getting pretty good gust. There's a gust right now, but I do know it's down northeast right now of home. It's traveling. It just passed us, a little while back, and I guess an hour or so ago, 45 minutes. And
did the eye wall pass over you, Gordon? The eye itself?
It passed. Right, it passed over. It passed probably a mile from us. I mean, we were right on the eye. Home itself, it probably passed right over Bob Blue, our eastern side of the parish, and it looked like